Hey Preston, this is Adrian. Sorry it took me so long to get to you, but I'm excited to work with you, and especially this fall, getting into everything and trying to get this all right. So, number one, we're going to look at your lower half. So as you transfer your energy, get into this position. Looking at your ankle, you're at 128 degrees, and what we want to get to is we want to get you to 103. So we want you to sit, 4 or 5 inches on the back side, and you can see it on this side as well. As you go through, your back leg's almost straight, 128 degrees, and we want to make sure that butt sits and this upper body rotates back, and that way you're really transferring your energy and you're staying on the back side, and using your lower body. So as you extend into plant leg, you plant your foot. We're only getting, let's see here, there we go. Only getting 80 degrees. So what I'd like to see happen is that this leg gets extended and driven out further. So if we got it out to here, I'd like to see 113 degrees. So if you could increase your foot stride to about here, we're talking like 1 foot, maybe 1.5 feet, you're going to be able to drive more off that back leg and to transfer it in your hips, because you can see how your back leg actually comes off the ground right there, which means that you're not having any hip transfer into the ball, which you're missing quite a bit of velocity out of it. So that's the lower half right there. So as you get into plant foot, we're also looking at this front leg. So right here we're seeing 133 degrees, which is great. As you drive into that, it actually retracts and you do a good job of landing your front foot. So as you land, your knee is over your ankle, and let's see if it moves at all. Moves just a tad. So if at plant foot, you started planting here, transfer a little bit. It's about 11 degrees movement with your knee. Your knee's moving, and any kind of movement in the front leg is time that it's going to take out of your back hip. So if your back hip if your front knee's moving, your back hip has to wait to rotate until the front leg remains stable. And so your front leg's decelerating and your hip's actually sucking back here. Legs straightening out. And what's going to happen is we want this to be pretty stable, and it's going to suck back, and we want this chest to drive through. And this kind of canopole action is what is going to be able to drive that body forward and to be able to put the energy into the baseball. So that's the lower half. And let's get into your posture. So as you throw, your posture right here is what we call almost an A posture. I'm going to say B posture. A straight up and down, B's like somewhere in here, C's way over here. So you're kind of a B posture, more of an A posture here. What that means is you're straight up and down. So we want to keep your posture there, so we have minimal head movement. What that means is when you're right here, this is where you start, and this is where you finish. So we have some head movement. What I'd like to see happen is that we start back a little bit, maybe in here about 3 inches, your head back with your chest as well, and then your head movement's going to be maybe 3 or 4 inches. So it's all about minimizing that, and if you can minimize it, you're going to be able to rotate better rotation, better velocity. So that's your posture. Posture's an A, mostly an A, almost a B. So remember that anytime you throw, remember to keep that chest back. So let's get into this. Front glove, we're going to get into upper body. The front glove stays up. So we have, right now you have a slight incline, which is good. And as you progress through this arm starts to go down. When the arm goes down, the throwing arm comes up. So you can see this symmetry. See here. You can see the symmetry in here. One comes up, one comes down. And what happens is, right now, this elbow is higher than the shoulder. And that's putting a little bit of stress on the shoulder and elbow. So what I'd like to see happen with the front glove is that you come up and you start pinching right away. Instead of coming down, you start pinching this way. And what that's going to do is it's going to drive that chest forward, and it's going to force you to throw with your chest and your body, and that's what's really going to be able to get more force out of your body by using less arm. So I would definitely work on that front glove. The front glove is going to be huge. Now on 212athlete.com, you also have you have all access to this. I think it's $16 a month, and you'll be able to have access to everything. So now we get into chest extension, and I want to see this. I want to show you this. So at release point, this is your chest extension. I'm going to measure off of your hip back your socket right here and up to your chest, about 23 degrees. And this is what I thought. We want to get you to 48 degrees out here. So we want your chest to drive further forward, and that's what's going to put more drive into your throw. Now, part of the reason behind this as well is the reason why your chest doesn't go forward is because your back leg comes up. Back leg comes up early, and it actually comes off the ground. And we want to be able to have as much ground force contact with the ground using friction, whether it's cleats or whatever. And if this leg is straight, you're going to have a greater likelihood of lining all of these things up. What happens is the leg lines up, the chest lines up, and then the arm lines up, and you have this, what we call triple extension. And when those are all aligned, you're at a huge advantage, mechanical advantage, and it takes a lot of stress off of the body, increases in performance, all these great things happen. So we're going to drive that chest better. There's, like I said, 212athlete.com. There's drills to fix each one of these weaknesses. That's a chest extension. So now let's get into high elbow. So as you rotate into this, I can see right away that we do have an elevated elbow. So you're at 163. I wanted to be at 180. So this is 180. So you're literally like 2 inches above. What we want to do is decrease this down to that line. We're talking 1 or 2 inches. It's minimal stuff. But you can see right here, your elbow's down early, and you're late to pinch that shoulder blade. And now the elbow's low. So at the end of everything, the elbow has to come up to throw. And so the sequence of everything, when you pinch, that front glove we talked about earlier is causing that issue as well. So they're all interconnected, and when you put them all together, we start getting huge improvements. So you have a high elbow. There's drills to fix each one of those. High elbow can be fixed within a few sessions, but you got to keep on it so that you don't go back to your old self. The last thing I'm trying to think, is let's look at the layback. So right here, if I drew you are about 27 degrees off. So guys that throw 90 miles an hour externally rotate quite a bit. And basically, we want to get you to be able to lay back better. Part of that is bands, part of that is the heavy balls. But what we can see out of this, see that high elbow, you can see it now. This is layback right here. And as you throw, and actually do a pretty good job, there's not too much of an arm flat. Watch the wrist go outside the elbow just a little bit. I don't think that arm flat's very big, but that might be because of the high elbow as well. So if we increase the drive on the chest, you're going to be out further, the elbow's going to be out further, the wrist is going to be out further. That might clean it up as well. So you have a slight arm fly out, but it's very, very minimal. And like I said, arm fly out, there's weaknesses, drills to fix that as well. So anyway, I think you do a great job. I think right here, I can't see your elbows pinch, and that's a common problem. We just don't get enough pinching with our shoulder blades, and you're going to get that with the bands and the balls. I'd like for you to come out to a camp, and you'll see a difference just in a few sessions of being able to pinch, and that's going to help you transfer that energy into the baseball. So thanks so much for being patient with me, and I hope this helps. I know that with what we see, you should be able to increase 6 to 10 miles an hour within a few short months. So thanks so much for being a part of 212 Athlete.